Hi, I'm Haley. Today I'm here to show you one of the many ways to get rid of overripe bananas. I'm making cream cheese banana bread. I've never tried cream cheese banana bread before, but cream cheese is good and banana bread is good, so I'm sure this is going to be great. I got this recipe from my great Aunt Sandy. Hi Aunt Sandy, I hope you're doing good. I miss you. I'm super excited to make this, so let's get started. First, you need a large bowl. I'm gonna beat the butter and the cream cheese. I have 3/4 cup of soft cream cheese. Sorry, that's butter. I have 3/4 cup of soft butter and 8 ounces of soft cream cheese. You have to make sure that your cream cheese and your butter are both very soft but not melted, because if they're not soft, you're gonna have a very hard time mixing this. So now I've got my stand mixer, or you can use a hand mixer, and I'm just gonna beat that all together. Okay, once your cream cheese and your butter is very smooth, add in 2 cups of white sugar. And then I'm gonna beat that in. I'm just starting out slowly, that way the sugar doesn't get everywhere, and then you can beat it in. And once your sugar is fully mixed in, add in 2 eggs, one at a time. Wait, can I do it one-handed? Yes, I can. I'm gonna beat in my first egg. I didn't fully mix in the egg yet, but it's mostly mixed in, so I'm gonna add my second one. This is an absolute mess, so I'm going to go wash my hands. And I'm gonna beat in my second egg. It looks so good right now, like it's so smooth and creamy. Okay, now once you finished completely mixing in all of your eggs, then in a separate bowl, I have 3 cups of flour and half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of baking powder, and half a teaspoon of baking soda. And I'm gonna mix that all together. And once you finish mixing together your dry ingredients, I'm gonna add about 1/3 of this into my butter mixture. And now I'm gonna beat my flour in on low. Okay, I haven't needed to do this yet, but once you start adding the flour, you're gonna need to make sure that you scrape down your bowl so that it all gets completely combined and there's no like flour on the side. That would be gross. Because you know, you don't wanna get a bite of plain flour. You wanna make sure it's all mixed in evenly. And now I'm gonna add some more of my flour mixture. And I'm adding the last of my flour. And I'm gonna finish beating that in. Oh my goodness. It's turning into like a cookie dough almost. Okay, I just finished adding in the rest of my flour, and the batter is extremely thick, like cookie dough thick. We haven't added the bananas yet, and the bananas add a lot of liquid, so it's okay if it's thick here. So for now, I'm gonna set this bowl aside, and in a separate bowl over here, I have bananas. You wanna use extremely ripe bananas. Like, I would never eat an overripe banana ever. I don't even like touching them, but in banana bread, you have to have them. It's better if they're more ripe. Like, the more ripe they are, the sweeter your banana bread will be. They just have a great flavor. So you want to use overripe bananas. And I'm just going to mash those up. I'm using a whisk because I think it works the best, but you can use anything. You can use a pastry grinder or a fork, or you can even use a spoon. Okay, I finished mashing up my bananas, and now I'm gonna add it into my mixing bowl. Whee! Yay! Yay! Yahoo! And I'm gonna mix the bananas in on low. And make sure that you scrape down the bottom and the sides of your bowl, because it's gonna get very messy and you wanna make sure that it's all mixed in. Brittany, siblings. And then I'm also gonna add 3/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And now we're all done except for the walnuts. So this is what it's gonna look like. See, it's a lot smoother and easier to deal with than that cookie dough. Very pale and very smooth. And now the last thing to do is mix in the walnuts. I'm using 1.5 cups because we like things extra nutty around here, but the original amount was 1 cup. So if you want to use 1 cup because you don't like as many walnuts, then you can just go ahead and do that. And these are pretty chopped up, like they're in pieces, you know, not halves and wholes, pieces. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. I'm finally done. I'm so ready to bake this. I'm joking. Oops, keep choking today. So now that it's time to bake them, I've got to prepare my pan, which I'm just going to do by greasing it. Oh yeah, I'm using a 9x13 pan, and I might need another pan, but I've never made this before, so I'm just gonna see how full it makes one pan. Okay, I filled up my first pan and I have some left over, so I'm going to pour the rest into an 8x8 baking pan. Okay, one thing that's very important when you make banana bread is to not overfill your pan, because a lot of people would see the amount that I have and say that it's not enough, and then they would just bake it all in one pan instead of baking it in 2 separate pans. But I have made banana bread so many times and I have overfilled mine a lot, and it's just really aggravating because it gets done on the edges but it never gets done in the middle because it's so tall, and so it's still super gooey. Okay, it's filling up my pan about this much, you know, so it's not even halfway. You want it to be pretty low. And I think that is the key to getting super moist banana bread. And now I'm going to bake these. My oven is preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm gonna bake this for about 25 minutes and then check on it. It's been 24 minutes. Now I'm gonna check it with a toothpick. Gonna stab it right in the center. And it's clean. It's very pale still, so I didn't think it was done at first, but the edges are starting to get brown and the toothpick is clean. So that means it's time to stop baking it. You don't want to overbake it because then your banana bread will be super dry and not moist, and that's not what you want. So now I'm just going to let this cool down before I try a piece. Okay, my banana bread is all cooled down, and if you can see inside the pan right now, half of it is already gone. So everybody is loving it, but now I'm going to try it. It feels so soft, I'm excited. Oh my gosh, this is like really, really good. It's so moist and so fluffy. It's like cake fluffy, but like better than cake fluffy. That is so good. And it's not as banana-y as another banana bread that I make, but I kind of like, I'm okay with that, you know? I kind of like how it's just a subtle banana flavor. And I think my favorite part about this is that it's so moist, but I don't feel like I'm eating raw batter. So fluffy, it's so good. I ate all my banana bread, I'm sad now. Okay, this is addicting, so you have been warned. Well, thank you so much for baking with me today. Let me know if you ever make cream cheese banana bread, and I'll see you next time on You're Stirring It Wrong.